I want to talk to you about this concept of losing yourself to another person, right? Maybe you've dated somebody for a long period of time and you watched yourself lose yourself in that relationship where it felt like what they wanted was what happened, what they needed was what happened. And your desires, your wants, and your needs sort of fell by the wayside. Or you've been married for years and you feel like you've lost yourself in the relationship. So I want to tell a quick story about this. When I was in India, I was in Shimla and there's all these monkeys, right? And the guide that we had was telling us how the mama monkey, when she finds food just kind of out and about, like let's say popcorn, she finds that she will not give it to her baby. She won't give the popcorn to the baby. Now, this could be for a lot of various reasons. It could be that she needs the food to nurse the baby. It might be that she's protecting the baby from maybe any germs or diseases that are on the food. But in general, there's this and I watched it happen. There's this like the mother had the back to the baby and was eating on her own. It's this very primal, like take care of this and then also take care of my child, right? And the reason I bring this up is because in that moment, I had this thought that actually losing yourself on some level, people pleasing is like another version of that from Western psychology, right? That's a label that Western psychology has introduced, is a form of losing yourself. And what I have to say is that losing yourself is actually an evolved state. The ability to be with somebody enough to let yourself, give yourself over to them, to fall for them, to give yourself over to them, even in a meditative state, to lose yourself into another sphere, another place, another dimension is an evolved place. And I want to say that because I think there's a lot of loud voices around Western psychology and the individualism that it brings to the table. Whereas with Eastern psychology and Eastern philosophies, it's very much about losing yourself to the divine, losing yourself to another, meaning making them so important that it takes over you, right? And I think there's a fine balance with both of these things. But I wanted to introduce this concept from an Eastern philosophical standpoint because I feel like that narrative is not spoken about very much. Instead, we're mostly talking about how do I retain my freedom? How do I keep my peace? How do I get my needs and my desires met all the time? We need a balance. It is evolved of you to be able to people please on some level. It's evolved of you to be able to